Thanks for coming out. I have the pleasure of introducing Mike Fata of Manitoba Harvest. He's one of the 3 founding partners. Sandra Peterson and I had the pleasure of going out to their farm and facility in September. And what was most impressive, and I visited a lot of facilities, was sort of the integration of their walk with their talk. It really was, I think they were living their values more than any other company I visited with. So I'm not going to take too much time. I'm going to let Mike tell the story.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Thank you. Who loves hemp? Yeah, good. Awesome. Excellent. Well, yeah, my name is Mike Fata. I'm CEO and co-founder of Manitoba Harvest. Thanks again for giving me the time to meet with you all. Coming out early this morning to spend some time with us. Kevin Greenwood is here as well, VP of Marketing. And so again, thank you. Today's going to be all about 3 things. First and foremost, to educate. We built really the hemp industry over the last 15 years by education, because a lot of people just don't know how good hemp is and what it's up to and all the things that it can do. And to engage with you also. We'll have some time in the end to answer some questions, but if you have things that come up during the presentation, feel free, I can go back and forth. And to inspire and to remind you all about the great things you're doing, offering natural food products and specifically healthy hemp food products to your customers. I sort of start off with a question: why are people just discovering hemp right now? Because each day that goes on, after 15 years of being in the business myself, I'm amazed that I say, no, I've never heard of hemp before, I've never tried hemp hearts or some of the simple things. And why is that, when really hemp has a really rich history? And we'll sort of start there, that over 5,000 years of history of hemp on the planet. Some of the first ancient artifacts were hemp mats, and hemp was used as a fiber because it is one of the strongest natural fibers, but also as a food, the seed, and then the oil was used as a fuel. And throughout time, hemp was grown and grown in Asia, in Europe, basically on all continents except for the Arctic and the Antarctic. And when people came over from Europe and started to settle in North America, they got free land. George Washington, Thomas Jefferson in the U.S. were hemp farmers, and in Canada the same thing was happening. The King of England was giving free land for people that came and settled in Canada. One of the stipulations of getting that free land was they had to grow a certain amount of their acres to hemp. Because at that time, it was the canvas of the sails of the ships, and the rope was made out of hemp material. If it wasn't for hemp, they wouldn't be sailing across the ocean. So all was good up until the early 1930s, and there's some conspiracy around that, but basically the DuPont family that was inventing nylon rope, and nylon rope at that time competed with hemp rope as a natural resource, and the Hearst family owned newspapers across the United States, started pulping trees for paper, so instead of at that time hemp was 90% of the world's paper source, and it's thought that the 2 got together and tried to, and thought it was in their best interest to ban hemp and outlaw hemp, and so they confused it with marijuana, and the Marijuana Tax Act was put into effect, and shortly thereafter hemp was put onto the Controlled Substances Act at the same level as marijuana, which is the same level as crack cocaine and heroin. And and back in the 30s, it wasn't the social media and mainstream media, and so it was really easy to have that misinformation campaign spread throughout the United States. And then because of Canada gets a lot of pressure from the U.S., we followed suit and made hemp illegal. The U.S. a couple of years later, when the Second World War was happening, realized that they needed hemp. It was a valuable fiber source for them, and so they had the whole Hemp for Victory campaign. If you haven't seen this, you can YouTube it. Basically encouraging American farmers at that time to grow hemp to save the war efforts, and they did. They grew another about 100,000 acres of hemp in 42, and then in that year, Henry Ford built a car that was made out of hemp fiberglass and ran on hemp biodiesel, so it was pretty, hemp was still there at that time. And then 2 years after the war, the U.S. government came out and said, no, hemp's a drug, it's a controlled substance, you can't grow it. And then for probably about 50 years, there was really not too much said about hemp. There was the Reefer Madness propaganda that was out. Again, has anyone seen Reefer Madness? It's basically saying that hemp and marijuana, hemp is marijuana, and it'll get your children. They referred to hemp as marijuana at that time, even though hemp and marijuana are both in the cannabis family of plants, but hemp, by definition, is industrial, doesn't have any psychoactive drug. The THC level, tetrahydrocannabidiol, is very low, used for food, fiber, and fuel. But Reefer Madness again sent this misinformation campaign that your children would turn into druggish fiends and rule the world. in the early 1990s, Martin Moravchik, one of the other co-founders of Manitoba Harvest, finished school at the University of Manitoba and started traveling the world and started running into hemp in countries across Europe and in Asia, and started bringing products back, whether it was ropes and yarn and textiles, wallets, shirts, paper back into Canada, and started selling them, and had the Emperor's Clothing Company and distributed wholesale hemp products around Canada. But then got very interested and said, if we can bring these products into Canada, why can't our farmers grow the crop? And at that time, we got the ear of the Minister of Agriculture in Manitoba, Harry Enns, said, hey, this sounds like a good idea. We need more niche crops to grow, because our farmers couldn't grow wheat at that time and compete to get it to port in Vancouver. And so in 1994, the provincial government of Manitoba gave us the first grant to bring in hemp seeds from different countries in Europe and see which ones grew best in Manitoba, to prove that, one, this crop could be grown in Canada, and two, that we didn't have to worry about, truly prove that it wasn't psychoactive, because at that time everyone still thought that hemp and marijuana were the same things. I came to it from a little bit of a different path. I used to weigh 300 pounds. When I was young, I grew up at McDonald's, set up right beside my school. Hamburger day, hot dog day. Next thing you know, I was 18 years old. I was weighing 300 pounds. I was sick and tired every day, and I became sick and tired of being sick and tired, and said that I was going to change my lifestyle and change my diet. And I wanted a no-fat diet, which was very popular in the mid-1990s, and literally cut all the fat out of my diet, because I was doing that and I was losing weight. Dr. Nathan Pritikin's principles, and so I found myself in a space of really, I was 160 pounds, which now I'm 185, 160 is really lean for me, and eating maybe 1 gram of fat a day, and my hair was falling out, and my skin was horrible, and I had no energy level. I was basically passing out places, and someone introduced me to the concept of essential fatty acids, which at that time omega-3 wasn't the popular item that it is nowadays, and so I started eating flax, and I started reading about hemp, and that's right when I met Martin and Alex, and we said, hey, I think that it's going to change from the no-fat diet to the right-fat diet. And fast forward to today, that's very much what's happening. And so we successfully used the support from the provincial government in Manitoba, lobbied to the federal government in 1998. The laws were changed, where industrial hemp was legalized in Canada, still under a license, and it's a picture of Martin and Alex and I in our first hemp field. We grew 100 acres that year with one farmer in Manitoba, and now we're celebrating our 15th anniversary this year. Just some of the simple why hemp foods. And we've changed up the messaging on this over the years to make it really easy on consumers, but hemp foods taste great. They have a really nice nutty flavor. Most people that try Hemp Hearts is our gateway product, unintended there, into the hemp foods, but have a really nice nutty flavor, similar to a sunflower seed. I'm sure, has everyone tried Hemp Hearts here? I don't think so, yes, great. But for a lot of consumers, they haven't still. Like, I'm amazed across Canada, maybe 1% of the people that live in Canada have actually tried hemp food products, but most people like the taste of it, especially over soy and some of the beanie flavor, or compared to a flax seed. People really like the taste, and then it's easy to use. Hemp Hearts are sprinkled on different foods, using protein powders in a smoothie, which are becoming a lot more popular nowadays, and they're very good for you. When we talk about good for you, it's basically the 2 macronutrients in hemp, the omega fats, the essential fatty acids, omega-3 and omega-6. We're comparing it to some other common foods, and I'll get into a little bit more on the hemp parts a little bit later. But the raw omega-6 and omega-3, and then hemp is prized because it has some of the longer chain fatty acids, GLA, gamma-omega acid on the omega-6 side, which GLA is very therapeutic as an anti-inflammatory. So for people that have skin conditions, which I found out, eczema, psoriasis, also arthritis, will find benefit in eating hemp food products from some of those longer chain fats. There's also stearidonic acid, SDA, on the omega-3 side, which is down that metabolic pathway to those longer chain, EPA, DHA. Also protein. Hemp, compared to, typically seeds are lower in protein. They're a good source of protein, but they're typically lower in protein. Hemp is a seed that is high in protein compared to other seeds, and even compared to other nuts, and for sure compared to animal-based protein products. You get more protein per serving in Hemp Hearts than you would if you're eating meat, chicken. Yeah.
What's the serving size there for Hemp Hearts?
30 grams. So one of 3 tablespoons is our recommended serving size. But this is just really based on percentage of protein.
Right,
So
yeah.
just and not only is hemp a really nutrient-dense source of protein, but it's also the digestibility in the protein. It's very easy to digest, and so we supported a study that was peer-reviewed and is published and is available on our website if you're interested. On manitobaharvest.com, you can go on and under hemp info. You can read through on the protein article that was there. And essentially, the big takeaway was that hemp has 90% of the protein digestible in the study. And so what consumers report is, I eat hemp foods, whether it's hemp hearts or protein powder, it doesn't give you a heavy feeling in your stomach, which some other products can. And that heavy feeling in your stomach when you're eating soy or eating like a whey protein shake is an allergic reaction usually, and it slows down the digestibility. So we'd say, I ate that, it's supposed to give me energy, but it actually took away some of my energy because you're using more energy to digest the product than you are to get from the nutrients there. So hemp is a really easy to digest protein, and we see that across a number of consumers. The feedback is the same. There's some other key nutrients. The hemp is a good source of fiber on the macronutrient side, but on micronutrients, the vitamins and minerals are really key. Magnesium is really a hot topic nowadays because of the relaxing or calming effects of magnesium. Hemp from a food source is one of the highest seeds in magnesium. So, and that's, the media's been talking about that a little bit even. It was on Dr. Oz last week. I don't know if anyone's seen that feature, where a lot of the focus besides essential fatty acids and protein was on magnesium, and they sort of tied it into saying, well, marijuana gets people relaxed, but it's not that kind of relax. It's actually truly relaxing your body at a cellular level, and you get that calming sort of effect. But they're also, iron is key in hemp in people that are living more of a vegetarian diet. Iron is a nutrient that's sometimes low in their diet, and zinc as well is another one. Manganese in hemp that's high. So we talk about hemp is fit for every diet. Whether you're on the paleo diet, it's recommended that hemp fits into the diet. Vegetarian, vegan diet, allergens, if you're concerned with allergen, because the hemp is very easy to digest and it's a simple food. There's only one ingredient in most of Manitoba Harvest products. It's fit for that. High protein diets, low carb diet, it fits in as well. We talk about more of a simplistic, raw, whole food diet as well that a lot of consumers are going towards nowadays. And the only one, I don't have it up there, but the no-fat diet, and we don't believe that the no-fat diet should be, you should be eating a lot of fat, the right fats, the essential fatty acid, that gives the body a better chance to digest fat and assimilate. Why Manitoba Harvest? Well, we're not going to rest on that. We were the pioneers that started the industry. I mean, that's the reality of it. But ever since that day one, when we realized that farmers didn't know why they wanted to grow hemp, very much like consumers didn't know why they wanted to buy a hemp food product or how to easily incorporate it into their diet. For 15 years, we've been exclusively focused on hemp. That's all we do, 365, 24/7, and so we've really built the supply chain and built the industry right from the farm base right through to the end package when we bring it to market here. So last year, the first year, we had 100 acres with one farmer in 1998. Last year we had over 30,000 acres in the ground with 75 producers across Western Canada. So we've been out there. We spent a lot of time educating farmers about why they want to grow hemp and supporting them to be successful with it, because the combining it may be a little bit different, the drying, the harvesting, the storage, compared to some other crops, and they really need that education. We talk about our vertical integration, which is really just more of a fancy term to say that we grow and make and sell our own hemp food products. And so we're on our third facility now, which we're right in the middle of our third expansion of that third facility. And Kim had the pleasure of coming out to visit us, which we enjoy for you all to come out, take you through a hemp field in the summertime and through the facility. Quality control in our facility has been number one, and back in the day we were just proving to people that hemp was a safe, healthy food product to eat, and safe was the key thing there, because people were already skeptical about hemp as a food product, and so commitment to quality was how Manitoba Harvest was built from day one, and so we were GMP certified and HACCP certified several years ago, but we've transitioned to the Global Food Safety Initiative, which is the highest level of food safety and quality certification that you can get for your facility, which is the British Retail Consortium, BRC. We were certified in 2012. We got a grade B. which is phenomenal. We were the first facility to be certified to the BRC standard. Through our recertification that happened this year in September, we now a grade A facility for BRC, so we can't get a higher level of food safety and quality, so we're really, really proud of that. We also are certified organic and certified kosher as a manufacturer, and we run our own in-house quality control lab, which is unique for us, so we can take every single lot of product that we make and really dissect it. We're looking at not only from a food safety standpoint, micro, and make sure that the product is clean and there's no pathogens, E. coli, and so on, but protein test, fat test, anything that we're looking at from a nutritional facts label we can test in-house. And because we have our own lab and we have 9 people now in quality control, we learn more about the hemp seed every single day, and 15 years later we're still learning a lot about the hemp seed, and we can really touch it. And then on the closer to your guys' end of our partnership with the business, we're bringing in new consumers because people don't know why they want to grow hemp. And my story, really, if anything, proves to people that you can make anything happen in life that you put your mind to, especially when people are looking to change their diet, whether they're looking to lose 100 pounds or they just want to feel better when they get up in the morning. We want to share that message, and so we do a lot with sampling. We'll talk a little bit more about the tools that we have for you all. A lot of demos in store, festivals and events, anywhere that we can get out and share our healthy message, and it really works. We're seeing over the years that we basically, now hemp's becoming more popular, and it's really just because people have the information of what it's really offering. So there's our Manitoba Harvest lineup, and if you've been around for a while in the industry, you notice that we, over the last 2 years, we've refaced Manitoba Harvest, and we've changed our corporate logo, and we really simplified it and contemporized it. And it was a lot with Kevin and his team's work, understanding what consumers were thinking about our brand, what they really liked about our brand, and then want to clearly communicate that message loud and clear. And as well, now our protein powders and hemp hearts went through a transition as well. And oil is the last one. This is the old days. It's going to change in about a month or so here. Getting into the products, and again, Hemp Hearts is our flagship product. It's the most versatile. It's the easiest for consumers to enjoy if they're just getting into hemp food products. And we compare it to flax and chia, and we're not going out there telling people that they should eat hemp instead of flax or chia. We believe that people should be eating hemp, flax, and chia instead of some of the other things that they're eating in their diet, because they're all rich sources of essential fatty acids. But if you compare Hemp Hearts to flax and chia, hemp has more essential fatty acids and twice the amount of protein. It does have the longer chain fats, GLA and SD, as we were talking about earlier. And for most consumers, it's more versatile because you can use it in a number of different food applications, and it's suited to that. In the show, we have two new. We've changed over. We had tubs. I don't know if you guys have ever had them in the store or around for food service, but our 5-pound, our 2.27 kg units now changed into our stand-up pouch bag as well. Protein powder. All hemp protein powders are made from the seed cake or the meal after oil pressing. So essentially, whole seed is cold pressed, and it's a mechanical screw press, and very much like a Champion juicer, single gear, larger obviously, but not that much larger. You want to, in essential fatty acid oil pressing, it's all about having small oil presses so you don't have a lot of heat, because heat will oxidize the oils and can turn raise the peroxide value, turn the fats rancid. And so it's all about small oil presses. We have 40 oil presses in our facility now. Just through this next expansion that we're going through that will be complete by March, we'll have 80 oil presses. So essentially, whole hemp seed is fed into the oil press, and very much like a Champion juicer, you get juice out, and then you get the vegetable pulp that comes out the front. So in an oil press, the same thing. We get cold pressed hemp seed oil, and then we get the hemp seed cake or the meal. And when you take that meal and you mill it down, that's where you make the hemp protein powders out of it. So Hemp Pro Fiber is essentially the whole seed cake ground up, so we still leave the fiber in, where you can get you're not only getting a good source of protein, but you're also getting a really good source of fiber. And we compare it to somebody commonly eating Metamucil or Bran, and you can get more of your RDA of fiber per serving. And then we also do flavored vanilla and chocolate. Hemp Pro 50 is is essentially we take the seed cake of the meal and we grind it up, and then we run it over a series of screens. So we're separating out some of the fiber, and when we sift out some of the fiber, we raise the protein to 50% concentration, which is the highest level of protein you can get in the hemp protein powder, and still in a raw whole food. And all 4 of these protein powders are raw whole foods. And then there's Hemp Pro 70, which is a world's first for Manitoba Harvest. We've created a hemp protein concentrate. So taking the hemp seed meal and putting it into a water extraction, and in the water extraction we can filter out some of the fiber more easily and get the protein up to a 70% concentration. And we're basically making a high protein hemp milk, and then that liquid is spray dried. And if you aren't familiar with the spray drying process, it's like misting into a hot airstream. Like you think of misting into a hair dryer. It dries off all the moisture, and then you get the powder. But because it's been spray dried, it also mixes really back easily into a beverage. So we have samples for all of you if you haven't tried it before. The whole food protein powders will have a little more of a mealy texture to it, and Hemp Pro 70 is rich, more of a rich and smooth and creamy taste to it. So when you compare it to other protein concentrates, it's very similar in the protein, but its benefit is it's offering essential fatty acids, and then its benefit and where consumers are looking to try hemp instead of whey or soy protein powder is because of the allergy concern that whey or soy would have. So we always say if depending on what the consumer is looking for in a protein powder, if they've been eating whey protein powder or soy protein powder and saying, I'm looking for something else because my doctor told me that I shouldn't be eating them because of an allergy concern, or they just make me feel a heavy feeling in the stomach, we'll normally recommend Hemp Pro 70 to them because it will be the most familiar. It's more of a neutral, creamy tasting powder. Where if they're a raw food diet or only eating whole foods, Hemp Pro 50 or Hemp Pro 5 or one of the flavors is going to be best. And I guess I should mention, we don't use any, in hemp protein concentrates, or in protein concentrates, especially in soy, they use hexane, which is a petrochemical to extract all the oil. We cold press the oil, so we're not using any hexane, and there still is the fat in the product. We want the fat in the product because it's essential fatty acids, and we add a little bit of antioxidant to Hemp Pro 70 so that the fat stays stable through that process. Again, just the different proteins we have. Easy mixing, the highest protein concentration in Hemp Pro 70, and then the raw whole food protein powders. Hemp oil as well, and comparing it to flax and fish oil is normally an essential fatty acid set, and hemp contains a balance of omega-6 to omega-3. The World Health Organization and the Health Canada and the global organizations around health is saying that 4-to-1 ratio, 4 parts omega-6 to 1 part omega-3 would be ideal for the human diet. And in North America, we're probably up at about 25-to-1 or even more than that, omega-6 to omega-3. And so straightening out that ratio is eating foods that are higher in omega-3. And people have said, oh, we can just eat flax, and because it's such a high source of omega-3, and it'll straighten that out. But you can actually start taking in too much omega-3 into your diet. So hemp is prized because it's a 3.75 to 1 ratio between omega-6 to omega-3. So not only is it one of the richest sources of essential fatty acids in plant oils, but it's also the balanced omega-6 and omega-3. And it contains the longer chain fatty acid GLA and SDA. And it has because hemp is rich in chlorophyll naturally in the seed, it has a nice emerald green color, so it's similar to a rich olive oil if you happen to have it, and it has a nice nutty flavor to it. I love it making a salad dressing. Mix 1 part hemp oil or 2 parts hemp oil with lemon juice, apple cider vinegar, red wine, or balsamic. Makes a great salad dressing. Sprinkle hemp parts on top. You'll have a salad that you want to have a salad any other way. Another world's first for Manitoba Harvest is Hemp Bliss, our organic hemp milk, organic hemp beverage, I guess. Just again, we have consumers that are either going to hemp because soy and almond, there's allergy concerns there and they can't eat those products. Rice milk, which is mostly sugar, it's really lacking in the protein and essential fatty acids. and hemp is offering a good source of omega-3 and omega-6 and does have protein as well. It's formulated really to use hot or cold, so you can steam it up and use it in a hot beverage or use it in your smoothie, or essentially anywhere that you would use a dairy or a non-dairy milk in your recipes.
Would you mind going over how you make the hemp milk?
Yeah, essentially it's hemp hearts in water, and you blend it up. And I'll go about maybe 10 years ago when we do probably about 50 shows a year, consumer shows, festivals, and events, and we'd make fresh hemp milk when we went to shows in a Vitamix. You can make hemp milk at home. We have actually a recipe in our brochure and then on our website. If you take about 1 part hemp hearts to about 4 parts water, or 5 parts water, or 6, depending on whether you like sort of whole milk to skim milk. You can put it into a Vitamix or a blender, and within a minute of blending it up, you get a white, creamy, nutty tasting hemp milk. You don't need to soak it like other nuts that doesn't have the trypsin inhibitors or oligosaccharides that nuts or seeds would have, those anti-sprouting agents. And so you can make fresh hemp milk like that. And we made it throughout all these shows. People said, you've got to put that into a package for us. I said, well, you can make it at home yourself, and here's the recipe. And the next show, no, you put that into a package for us, please, please, please. And so essentially, it is the hemp hearts, and there's a little bit of hemp oil and water, and then we're flavoring. We have an unsweetened original, and we have an original and vanilla and chocolate, and it's aseptically processed, so it doesn't need to be refrigerated after opening. It has 12 months shelf life to it.
And sorry, a couple more questions. So do you filter out anything after you've made the hemp milk?
Yeah, it will filter out.
You do filter out the bits,
and,
so okay.
And when you make it at home, you can either leave all it'll have a little bit of particulate in it, or you can run it through cheesecloth or a strainer and filter it out.
But that's all good for you anyway.
Yeah. I find myself when, because I travel a lot, and I travel with hemp hearts, I can travel with protein powder. It's harder to travel with hemp milk, but if you're making a smoothie, you can just put hemp hearts and water into the blender first, make a hemp milk, and then add all your fruits and greens and other stuff that you want to make into it. It's really, really convenient that way. And
you don't have to stabilize the oils anyway when they're packaged in there, because there's no lighter oxygen?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Perfect.
aseptically processed, yeah. A question that comes up for us quite often, because we offer both natural and organic, because organic and natural, why? First and foremost for Manitoba Harvest is offering a nutrient-dense product out to consumers, and that's why we chose hemp, and it ties into, personally, my mission is to make the world a healthier place, essential fatty acids, protein, teaching people about eating healthy. I'm also really, really passionate about organic. I'm on the board of the Organic Trade Association in Canada here. But we realize that there's a number of consumers that can afford organic, and they pay for third-party certifications, and then there's people that are looking for healthy protein sources, essential fatty acid sources that like hemp because it's a clean product. There's a difference between growing hemp organically and natural. It's still conventional farming practices. There's fertilizer used, but there's no pesticide sprayed on the crop, and it's also non-GMO. So the price difference and the yield difference and the availability between growing natural and organic. Organic has its challenges, and we work every day to go out there and support and try to educate more organic farmers. But unfortunately, over the last couple of years in Canada, organic farming is going down, and there's just a lot of challenges for organic farmers where either they're not making a good yield on their crop, or people aren't paying the difference, and this is maybe more in organic wheat and some of the other commodity crops. So we want to offer a nice healthy alternative to them, but we tell people if you support organic and you want to see more organic, buy the organic products. It's going to support more organic farming in Canada, but it's not a very quick win. And so we feel really good about going out there and educating conventional farmers that you can grow a non-GMO seed. You don't need to spray pesticides on your crop, and you can actually have a successful crop. And we have more and more farmers that are being successful with that, and we get a priced right product out to the consumers as well. And it's becoming more popular in Canada, the non-GMO project, which started out of the US. So all Manitoba Harvest products are non-GMO project verified. And you guys seen that throughout the stores? There's more of that. There's a little bit of weird laws in Canada where non-GMO is trying to be pushed down from some of the big food companies. We're trying to raise that up. I know there's been a number of initiatives in the U.S. and California, and then recently in Washington on the right-to-know labeling, which both unfortunately were defeated. It's probably going to be a little bit longer in Canada before we see such initiatives because the government's really, really behind trying to keep the genetic modification discussion out of the picture. But I think non-GMO project and/or right-to-know labeling is the way that we as consumers can say, no, we really want to understand what's in the product, and so if you guys aren't behind that initiative and you look into it, you can be a lot more active. Another one that comes up quite often actually, and we'll sort of